Hi Yogi, welcome to my channel. My name is Alina and today we have a 15-minute yoga class designed for you to maintain healthy spine. The class is filled with back bends, yummy spinal movements. I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm not using any props for it, but if you want, grab them and set up the space before we get started. Also, before we start, remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. You know what to do, and I'll see you on the mat in just a few moments. We're going to start this practice in comfortable cross-legged seated position. If you're using any props, you can sit on the block if you want. If not, if you're just like me, then you're just sitting on the floor, all good. We're going to close the eyes, straighten out the spine, bring the chin parallel to the floor, and start the practice by bringing ourselves into right here, right now, disconnecting from the outside world. And bringing all the awareness, all the attention inwards. Start noticing the breath. Any sensations, any feelings, any emotions, any thoughts. And then start creating deeper inhales and longer exhales. If you want to activate your Ujjayi breath for this practice, which I definitely recommend, then the air is starting to travel up and down the back of the throat. And try to tune into the sound of the breath, beautiful ocean-like sound. If Ujjayi breath is not within your practice today, then just deep inhales and long exhales are going to do the trick. As long as you're aware, I'm happy. And then keeping the breath, you're going to start adding the movement, start circling out your head, your neck. Direction doesn't matter. Try to keep your shoulders relaxed. We tend to shrug the shoulders to the ears once we start doing it. So try to be mindful about that. And then reverse the direction. You can go fast, slow, stop at a certain point, or keep going. Really doesn't matter. Encouraging you to close your eyes and feel. And we're going to find stillness. Hands are coming to your knees if they're not there yet, and start circling out the upper body. Again, no right, no wrong. We're starting to articulate the spine. Trust me, you will need this. But the bottom line, this should feel really good. So you're getting to know your spine the way it is today. And then reverse the direction. Big circles, small circles, that part is up to you. The breath is staying nice and smooth. Deep inhales, long exhales. Let this be this time of the day when every single round of breathing matters. And we're finding stillness right in the center again. And from here with me, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come down to heart center in prayer. Set up an intention for this practice. Why are you on the mat? What brought you to your mat today, and what is it that's going to keep you on the mat the entire practice? Very personal question. And once you've done that, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of your shins. You're going to keep the sits bones grounded. Walk the hands forward, lengthening through the sides of the body. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Neck is super, super long. And then from there, walking the hands further forward. Eventually lift the hips off the ground. Come into your tabletop. We're adjusting the tabletop. The knees are underneath your hips. The hands are under your shoulders. And then from here with me, inhale, drop the belly, arch the back. Exhale, push away from the ground and puff up your spine. Let's do it again. Inhale, open up. And exhale, round and curl. Last one, inhale. Exhale, you're pushing away from the ground. You're going to hold it for a second longer than before. The next inhale brings you back to your neutral spine. Keep the hips on top of your knees and start walking the hands forward. We're going to lower the forehead down to the mat. Keep the hips on top of your knees, very, very important. If this is enough for the upper back, your chest, your shoulders, then you're staying here. If you need more, the chin goes down to the floor. Maybe even your chest, but don't push it too far. This is the very beginning, the first back bend, if you will. Let's take a deep inhale. Exhale, the chest is coming tiny bit closer to the floor. Let's do it again. Inhale. And exhale down. The next inhale, slide yourself forward, coming into Sphinx pose. The hips are going down to the floor. Pull the chest through the arms, opening the heart. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. Neck is long. Your feet are together. Good. And if you want, you can extend the elbows. But if you're extending the elbows with me, make sure the hips are staying down on the floor the entire time. That might mean that the elbows are not completely straight. That's okay. And once you get to your max point, you're going to start pulling yourself forward. Again, all of these back bends, all of these spinal movements are really about the length. It's not about how it looks. Deep inhale here. Exhale, lower the forehead down to the floor. Slide the hands outside the mat, elbows go towards the ceiling, fingertips on the ground. My favorite cobra variation. Inhale, press into the fingertips, lift up. Exhale, the right shoulder goes down, center of the mat. Inhale, lift back up. And exhale, the left shoulder goes down. One more on each side, inhale it. Exhale the right. And inhale, lift back up. And exhale the left. Good. Inhale through the center. You're going to lift yourself back up. Exhale, lower the forehead down to the floor. The feet are staying together. You're going to press the tops of the feet against the ground. Hands come underneath your shoulders. The next inhale, lift the chest a couple of inches up. There's no weight in the hands, so the hands are not pushing you up. But then you're just going to start dragging yourself forward. You can do crawling motion with your hands. Squeezing the elbows and squeezing the shoulder blades together. You can start feeling a little pinch between the shoulder blades. At least that's what we're looking for. Neck is long, the shoulders away from the ears. You're going to keep breathing. The breath is staying nice and smooth here. And again, make sure the feet are down. If all is good and you can lift the hands off the floor, by all means go for it, not stopping you there. We'll do another deep inhale. And exhale, lower the forehead down to the floor. Take a few moments, shake it out. We're going to keep it in the cobra family. We'll do one more cobra, different variation, the full cobra this time. And I'm going to ask you to keep the hands exactly where they are right now, underneath your shoulders. And this time around, yes, you will press into your hands a little bit, but keep in mind the hips are staying down on the floor the entire time. That will probably mean the elbows will not be completely straight, and that is going to be totally fine. Take a deep inhale, preparing. Stay here for the exhale. The next inhale, press into your hands and start lifting up. The moment the hips start lifting off the ground, that's when you stop. And again, once you hit your max, you're going to start pulling yourself forward. The moment you pull yourself forward, you'll feel the deeper back bend. And I don't know if you can see it right now, but I'm literally shaking, not an easy pose. And my hands and my arms are nowhere near being straight. Feet are staying together. We'll take another deep inhale here. And then exhale, lower the forehead down to the floor. Shake it out, let it go. Good, and we're going to keep it in the back bends, but go into a little different ones. Bend your knees. Grab the ankles, flex your feet. We're going into a couple of bow variations. The first one is going to be with your knees down on the ground. You're going to flex your feet. The next inhale, kick the feet all the way back, and you're using the strength of your legs to lift the chest up. Good. Again, lifting the chest up just because of the strength of the legs here. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, neck is long. You're still breathing, and the knees are staying down on the floor. The knees are together. The inner thighs are pressed against one another. One more inhale here. Exhale, the forehead goes down to the floor. You can let go of your legs. Drop the hands by your sides and windshield wiper your legs here a little bit. We're getting ready for one more bow. And that one is going to be a full one. So for that one, you will actually lift the knees off the floor. But one thing I'm going to ask you to try and do is to keep your inner thighs squeezed together as much as possible. Finding stillness with the legs. Once again, grab your ankles and flex your feet. You're going to squeeze the inner thighs to start with. And then you're going to start kicking the feet all the way back. And then start lifting the legs up. All that is lifting your chest. But again, try to keep the inner thighs together. Lots of strength in the legs. You're going to feel it in the chest and the shoulders. Feel that rush of energy coming through your heart. Remember to breathe. Not easy, by the way. Deep inhale. Exhale, lower the forehead down to the floor. Good. Let go of the grip. We're going to straighten the legs. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Keep the feet together, knees apart. We're going into child's pose. Take a few moments to lengthen through the spine after all this back bends. Now make sure that the knees are not together. We don't want to round, not yet. And then from this child's pose, very slowly, you're walking the hands back up towards your body, rolling up the spine vertebra by vertebra. And once you get there, circle out your head, your neck. The direction doesn't really matter. Wow, I'm literally out of breath because of a couple of back bends. That is crazy. But that's what they do to you. And then circle out the other way. Good. And you're going to find stillness. Knees are going to stay kind of hip distance apart. You're lifting the hips up. And you're going to bring the feet the same distance the knees are at. We're going into our camel, and we'll do a couple of different variations. First, to start, the hands are going to your lower back. The fingertips are facing up. You're going to keep the hips in line with your knees. Start sending the chest up. I do not care how low you go or how high you go or how it looks in general. How does it feel? Definitely no pain in the lower back. You're trying to lengthen as much as possible out of your lower back and just send the chest up. Good. Inhale is going to lift you back up. And we're going to move the hips around just a couple of times. Good. We'll do 2 more of those camels, different variations if you want. But if this felt good and you want to stay with these variations, I'm not going to stop you. You're going to keep it there. If you're progressing with me, this time around, you're going to reach the hands to your heels. But make sure the hips are not dropping back, right? You really want to keep the hips in line with your knees here. Go for the back bend whenever you feel ready. You're going to inhale and start sending the chest up. I like to first grab my shins here and then walk my hands all the way back to grab the heels. Push the hips forward a little bit more, send the chest up a little bit more. If you're observing this whole thing, if you're staying aware, you'll notice that this pose is literally just like the bow that we did right before. Different planes with different sensations, but very similar posture. Inhale is going to lift us back up. Make sure that you're going both sides at the same time, not one side up and then the other. And then you can move the hips around again. One more camel variation. You can do the first variation, the second variation, or you can keep progressing with me. If you're progressing on this with me, the hands are going to come at the heart center in prayer. And I want you to imagine that the chest is chasing your thumbs. Once the chest starts chasing your thumbs, you'll notice how the back bend starts happening. Again, we're not looking for depth here. We're going to keep sending the chest to chase the thumbs. Keep going, keep breathing, keep the hips in line with your knees. Don't worry about how it looks. Make sure that you can still breathe. Make sure that you would be able to still talk if you were me. Good, and we're here for another breath. Deep inhale. Stay for the exhale. The next inhale is going to lift us out of it again, both sides at the same time. Then you're moving the hips side to side, just to kind of realign your spine a little bit. Good. And from here, we're going to sit back onto our heels. Grab the heels, and we're coming into rabbit pose. You're going to bring the crown of the head down to the floor. And then keeping the hands grabbing your feet, start lifting the hips up as far as you can. That should feel pretty good. We're reversing everything we just did. Take a few moments right here. Beautiful, beautiful job. And then we're lowering the hips back down to the floor. No fancy transitions on this one. We're just going to cross at the ankles, sit back, and lower ourselves all the way down to the floor. We have a couple of more back bends to go through together before we've hit our final posture of the practice. Feet are going in front of your hips. You're going to keep the arms by your sides. On the next inhale, you're lifting the hips up as high as they go. Once the hips are lifted, walk the shoulder blades under a bit more, switching the focus from your glutes to your heart. This is your bridge pose. You've done it probably a million times before. But I want you to notice something right now. Now that we've done bow and camel right before it, you might be able to notice this is the same exact pose.
Good, let's play with it. If playing doesn't work for you, I'm going to give you more options. Don't be afraid. You're going to bend the elbows and bring the hands underneath your lower back. If that works, you're going to walk the elbows under, bring the fingers out. The heels of your palms are supporting the lower back. This is becoming a supported back bend, supported bridge. If that works and you're comfortably balancing on your elbows, you're staying here. If that did not work, then you're going to lower the hips back down to the floor. Wherever you are, hips can be on the hands or on the floor. We're going to lift the legs up to the ceiling, creating legs up the wall or waterfall, whatever you want to call it. If the hips are on the floor, then it's a pretty straightforward pose. If the hips are balancing on your hands, then you're just having a bit more fun. That's totally cool. And then from there, we're going to send the feet all the way over the head, coming into plow. And once you get into your plow, the feet do not have to touch the ground. They might, but they don't have to. You're going to clasp the hands together and straighten the arms all the way towards the front edge of the mat. Take a few moments. And from this plow pose, bend the knees around the ears. You're coming into ear pressure pose. And one thing, the rabbit we just did, it's very similar to that one. All these poses are very, very similar. They feel different just because we're in different planes. And then you're going to release the hands, grab the outer blades of your feet, and pull the knees outside the ears. Pull the knees closer to your shoulders. I know it's crazy, but stay with me. We're almost out of this craziness together. You're going to keep the hands on your feet and slowly roll yourself out of it, coming into your happy baby. Tailbone goes down to the floor. You're going to pull the knees outside the rib cage. If that's too much today with the hands on the outer blades of the feet, then you can slide the hands to your ankles. That's okay. But try to keep the tailbone down on the floor. I want you to be very aware of your spine right now, and I want you to lengthen it as much as possible. Beautiful job. Now we're going to lower, bend the knees, and then bring the arms around your knees, hug them into your chest. Beautiful job. One more breath here. Maybe give yourself a nice tighter hug than before. And as you exhale, you're going to open up for your final Shavasana. Final posture of this short but sweet practice, which you hopefully enjoyed. I really encourage you to stay in this Shavasana for the next 3 to 5 minutes, letting the body take in everything we just did. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, Yogi. I'll see you back very, very soon. Namaste.